What's up, coaches? Thad Wells here with Becoming Unscoutable. Quick announcement before we get into just some thoughts on the journey right now is we just switched over our website Rooski, Rooski.com. New format, but Becoming Unscoutable, the premium version with daily content being added, with dozens of videos on the journey and just thoughts on how to be successful at the game of football. If you go to Rooski.com, you'll see that. And you'll have access to a lot more videos. What you're seeing here on YouTube, on podcasts, is kind of more of just the personal journey and the story about it. That what's in Becoming Unscoutable on Rooski.com is really the kind of lessons learned and just thoughts from books, from coaches, from film, and ideas, plays, just the best thoughts that I could come up with to share to help anybody along this journey that's trying to become the best version of themselves, trying to become the best coach. So if you go to Rooski.com, you can check that out there. Now we are getting ready to enter. It's actually tonight we play Game 6 as we're recording this right now of the season. Game 6. So we're 3-0. Last video I put out, we're 3-0, and since then we're 0-2. So we're 3-2 so far in the first half of this season. And the thing that's on my mind, on my heart, and just thinking is how important it is to be a good salesman as a coach, no matter what you are trying to do. And so if you were an offense coordinator, defense coordinator, special teams coordinator, a position coach, every day you're trying to sell that what you're asking somebody to do is the best thing you could ask them to do. And whether it is or not, now obviously you want to have a good product, meaning you want to be able to tell people to develop these, your players. You want them to believe. So what you're actually asking them to do better be good. It better actually develop them and not waste their energy, their time, their life, because ultimately they're lending you their life to go play a game. And but you're trying to use that trade that they're that energy they're giving you, and you want to reinvest that into their lives and give them more than just success on the football field. That's ultimately what we're trying to do here. But after for us, losing the last 2 weeks, the thing that you just keep on trying to do is sell the belief that if you keep working, good things will come. Maybe not necessarily wins, right? And again, I get it. Like, that's one of the hardest things for us as coaches to get over and to see past, and players and people in general in life, is that the scoreboard isn't what makes us feel worthy in life. And that's hard. I mean, I'm competitive and want to win, and I get it. We're all the same as coaches, and it's hard to pull yourself from that. It's hard to have a good week after a loss. It really is. Like, it's a very deep psychological thing to be like, like, I feel good even though we lost. Now, sometimes, you play a really, really good team and you held in with them. You might feel that moral victory there. But in the long run, I think it's working harder and harder and harder to feel success in the moment, in the day, in practices. You judge every practice. Did we get a little better? And I can feel good about my day. And then it's really stacking moments within practice itself. It's or film, or the weight room, or nutrition, or in recruiting, or whatever it is. You're trying to have those successes, and you're just trying. Right, that's the whole thing of Becoming Unscoutable. It's just a journey of trying to become the best version of yourself as a football coach, and that in itself is what success is about. Is you tried, you strived today to get a little better, and if you did, at the end of the day, you're going to judge yourself to have that peace. What John Wooden talks about, success is basically peace. It's in that peace you get from trying to become a better person, trying to just work towards a goal. And no matter what goals you ultimately set, if they're a good goal of any kind versus being a selfish, greedy person, right? If you have a good goal to work hard towards, you're going to grow along that journey, because you're going to fail. And when you fail, you grow, you get better. And getting better allows you to go take that and apply it to something else in life, maybe to a hardship that's going to come to your family one day, or to some other family. But that striving is going to prepare you. And it's really hard to just strive in general, right, with no goal. It's kind of hard just to like read or to pray or to journal or to walk or to work out without some kind of goal. So as a football coach, kind of our goal is to build programs and to have success on the field. But that goal of that's going to help us grow to do other things. But going back to sales, all right, the main thing that I'm thinking about here is one of the main things of being a coach is you got to learn how to sell. And selling is not this cheesy, slimy thing that you may think of when you think of selling, which is the same thing as recruiting. Okay, you got to make people to believe. And the word that I think about it is inspiration. We would love to be surrounded by people that have inspiration, that are inspired by life. I think inspiration is internal. I think it comes when you are in alignment with who you are, who you become, what your daily activities are. All that comes together and you're inspired. You wake up and you just work hard because you love what you do. You want to grow. Then motivation is kind of external. You've got to, and as coaches, a lot of times that's what we're doing. We're trying to motivate our people until they become inspired. We hope that when they leave our program, they're inspired people to go out and they don't need that daily motivation of a coach to push them. They have this internal inspiration to go grow daily. And instead of saying, I'm going to sell this program, I'm going to sell this play to my players to make them believe, because if they don't believe in what you're trying to get them to do, it doesn't matter. They're not going to put in the energy to get better. But as a coach, you're trying to inspire your people. You're trying to motivate them with everything you're doing, from your plays to your workouts, to the food that you're offering them, to your recruiting, to whatever it is. You're trying to get people to believe. And what are you trying to get them to believe in? Ultimately, a vision. Okay, this giant or one overall vision of your program, and you could really zoom out to life itself. The more purpose that people can find in your program, in their lives, in the big picture, the better they're going to be. The more energy they're going to put into your program itself. But this big vision of motivation that gets people to want to try and to work hard. But then even out of the big vision, you have the little pieces that make up the big vision, such as a play. Okay, like one play of your playbook. If a kid sees it, or a coach, one of your assistants sees it, and it doesn't make sense, like that's a little chink in the armor. It's kind of like, I don't believe that. So you have to sell almost everything you're doing to some degree. And the number way, all of sales really to me comes down to enthusiasm. Believing it yourself. Whatever you're selling, you believe it and you project that with enthusiasm. And I don't mean like rah everything. It's however you show enthusiasm, which enthusiasm really is just being inspired within. And for me, that's being inspired ultimately through God. But you have to show that enthusiasm for life. The more you do, the more people are going to believe in what you're trying to sell, your vision. And so if you were, lost your last game, or you lost your last two games, you kind of ramp that up even more to make people to continue to believe that you believe what you're doing yourself is what's going to lead to the best version that you could be. It may not lead to a 10-0 season and a championship, but based off of where your program is currently, this is the best plan. All right. Now, you got to make people believe that, but you also have to create the best plan you can. And you can only create the best plan that you currently have in your mind. So that's based off of your growth as a coach. The more you grow, the better plans you can create. The less growth you have, the less knowledge you have, the less failures you've made, the less you've learned from other people's failures, the less your plans are going to be. It's point blank fact. And so your job as a coach is to, as a coach, we are hired because of our judgment, our ability to make decisions. Because we are going to have to make decisions, or be involved at least in helping people make decisions with a lot of people, with everybody within our program. And so we're really making decisions on how to help people live their lives, at least apply energy into a program. And you're going to have better judgment. You're going to make better decisions with the more you grow in life and the more clarity you have on who you are and who your program is and what they could become. And you talk about like all the videos and becoming Unscoutable and all that. We're talking about right now going through a lot of things on what it means to find that thing that your program could be better at than anybody else, so that they can't just copy what you're doing and they can't recognize Unscoutable, right? That's the word. They can't recognize what you're doing. They don't know how to counter it. All right. But just some thoughts today on right now on this journey of trying to grow, trying to get better. Yes, that's what becoming Unscoutable is. It's just the journey of coaching that makes us better as people, makes our people better, hopefully, for this next calling that they have on their life. And when you're not having a lot of success, that's when you have to push, sell even harder. But you better make sure your plans of what you're trying to sell are the right plans. So you might have to go back and readjust your plans and we're always doing that, right? You think of the best plan, you go test it, and it works or it doesn't. and then you make adjustments from there. But even if it works, you could probably make it even better, right? You're always trying to tweak it, and sometimes you've got a really good plan. You're executing it really well. It's not anticipated by the opponent, and it's just your overall talent versus their overall talent isn't going to lead to victory on game day, but you still feel good because of the effort you put in. All right, so those are just some thoughts right now, halfway through our season. Again, I'd love for you to check out the new Rooski.com and becoming Unscoutable to just get access to all of our videos and really more lessons on this journey of just trying to become a better coach.